There's a squid at the bottom of the ocean that no one has ever caught alive. No scientist has ever held one. No aquarium has ever kept one. Everything we know about it comes from a handful of grainy, nightmarish clips captured by deep-sea cameras. Footage so unsettling that researchers who first watched it didn't even believe it was a real animal. Its arms bend at unnatural right angles. Its body drifts in total silence through absolute darkness. And the specimens we found suggest the ones on camera might only be juveniles, which means the adults, the fully grown versions of this thing, could be something we haven't even seen yet. But to understand how something like that can exist, you need to understand what the ocean does to living things the further down you go. Because something happens to creatures as they descend past certain depths, something that warps them. Their bodies stretch into shapes that don't seem possible. Their eyes either balloon to monstrous proportions or disappear entirely. They grow spines, hooks, and limbs in places that seem to violate every rule of biology. It's as though evolution itself becomes unhinged the moment sunlight can no longer reach them. And of every animal kingdom affected by this transformation, none are twisted as dramatically as squids. Some become completely invisible. Others replace their suckers with rotating, flesh-shredding hooks, and the ones that live in the very deepest layers of the planet become things that look less like animals and more like the kind of creatures civilizations once built myths around. Let's start where things still make sense. Near the surface, in what marine biologists call the Epipelagic Zone, squids look exactly the way you'd expect them to. The reef squid is a perfect example. Small, elegant, iridescent skin flickering with color as it glides over coral. Nothing about it is alarming. It's the squid your brain pictures when someone says the word. But this version of a squid only exists because the ocean is kind here. There's warmth, there's light, there's abundant food. Everything a body needs to stay compact, efficient, and normal. What happens when you remove all of that is where this story really begins. Drop below 200 meters and you enter the twilight zone, a region where sunlight fades into a dim blue-gray haze before vanishing altogether. And this is where the first signs of transformation start showing. The firefly squid is one of the earliest examples. Its entire body is embedded with photophores, biological light organs that pulse blue across its skin. It uses this glow to communicate, to hunt, and to camouflage itself against the faint light filtering down from above. It's actually beautiful in an alien kind of way. Then there are glass squids, animals that have made their entire bodies nearly invisible. Their mantles are transparent. Their organs are visible through their skin. They've essentially turned themselves into living ghosts to avoid being seen by predators in a world where hiding behind coral or rocks is no longer an option. Strange, yes, but not frightening. Not yet. That changes at the lower boundary of this zone, where you encounter something that finally crosses the line from strange into genuinely dangerous. The Humboldt squid is a 6-foot, 100-pound predator that hunts in organized packs. Unlike nearly every other squid species, Humboldts don't stalk prey alone. They coordinate. They communicate through rapid, strobing patterns of red and white light that ripple across their skin in real time, a language we still cannot fully decode. Their tentacles are lined not with ordinary suckers, but with razor-sharp hooks, specifically evolved to grip and tear flesh. And their aggression is indiscriminate. They've been documented attacking and eating members of their own species. Smaller, weaker Humboldts are not treated as family. They're treated as food. Fishermen in the Sea of Cortez call them Diablos Rojos, red devils,
and not because of their color alone. Divers who've encountered them at night describe the experience as being surrounded by flashing 6-foot predators moving at nearly 25 miles per hour in pitch-black water. Could they kill a human? Physically, yes. Their hooks can open skin, and their beaks can crack shellfish. But there are no confirmed human fatalities. They prefer smaller prey, fish, crustaceans, and unfortunately for them, other squids. Still, the Humboldt is a warning. It's the ocean telling you that the further you go, the less recognizable things become. Below 1,000 meters, you've entered the midnight zone, and nothing about this place is hospitable. There's no light, there's no warmth. The pressure would crush a human body in seconds, and the squids here have been so radically reshaped by evolution that some of them barely look like squids anymore. Take the Prometheus sulcus. When an image of this creature first circulated online, people assumed it was fake, because this squid appears to have human teeth. Rows of flat, square, disturbingly familiar-looking teeth arranged inside what looks like a smiling mouth. In reality, they're folded flaps of soft lip tissue surrounding its beak, but the visual effect is deeply, viscerally wrong. Only one specimen has ever been recovered. It was barely an inch long. Whether larger ones exist somewhere in the dark is a question nobody can answer yet. But the Midnight Zone's most famous resident is the one most people have actually heard of, the giant squid. It can stretch to an estimated 45 feet. Its eyes are the largest of any known animal, wider than dinner plates, evolved to detect the faintest traces of bioluminescent light in a world of permanent black. For centuries, it was considered a myth. Sailors told stories of sea monsters pulling ships beneath the waves, and scientists dismissed them. Then whale carcasses started surfacing with massive circular scars carved into their skin, sucker marks the size of bottle caps. And when researchers examined the stomachs of sperm whales, they found enormous beaks, squid beaks, beaks from something far bigger than anything science had formally acknowledged. The giant squid wasn't a myth, it was just hiding in a place we couldn't reach. But the giant squid is not the heaviest. That title belongs to the colossal squid, a separate species entirely, found lurking in the abyssal waters beneath Antarctica. Where the giant squid is long and fast, built for ambush strikes from a distance, the colossal squid is a siege engine. It's shorter but enormously dense, with the heaviest recorded specimen exceeding 1,000 pounds. Its tentacle clubs are lined with hooks that swivel and rotate, designed not just to grip, but to bore into flesh and lock in place. Once it has you, it drags you toward a beak capable of shearing through bone. These two titans have likely never met in the wild. They occupy different depths, different hemispheres, different hunting grounds. But they share one enemy: sperm whales. Dive thousands of meters into crushing darkness to hunt both species, and the battles leave evidence on the whales' bodies: long scars, sucker imprints, and hook wounds etched into their skin, like records of wars fought in a world no human has ever witnessed. And then, below all of that, in the deepest trenches on Earth, is the thing I mentioned at the beginning: the Magnapinna, the big fin squid. It lives in the Hadal Zone, the final layer of the ocean, a region of trenches and abyssal plains where the pressure exceeds 1,000 atmospheres and the temperature barely hovers above freezing. Almost nothing survives here: microbial life, some worms, and this. The Magnapinna doesn't swim like other squids. It doesn't hunt like other squids. It simply hangs in the void, its arms extended outward and downward at sharp 90-degree bends, trailing thin filaments that can stretch its total length to over 20 feet. It moves so slowly that submersibles have drifted past them without operators even realizing something was there. Its body is nearly translucent, reflecting almost no light, making it functionally invisible even when something bioluminescent drifts nearby. Every adaptation it has is designed around one principle: spend nothing. Movement costs energy. Energy requires food. Food barely exists here. So the Magnapinna evolved to become motionless, a drifting net suspended in nothingness, waiting in silence for something to brush against its filaments. We don't know what it eats. We don't know how it reproduces. We don't know how large the adults actually grow, because the specimens on camera are almost certainly not fully mature. And that is the part that stays with you. Not the teeth, not the hooks, not the scars on whales.
It's the unknowing. We've mapped the surface of Mars in higher resolution than we've mapped the floor of our own ocean. Less than 5% of the deep sea has been explored. Every species I've just described, the giant squid, the colossal squid, the glass squids, even the Magnapinna, was discovered essentially by accident. We found most of them because sperm whales brought back evidence, or because a camera happened to be pointing in the right direction at the right moment, thousands of meters below the surface. If things like these exist in the fraction of ocean we've glimpsed, the question isn't really whether there's something else down there. The question is what it looks like, how big it is, and whether we're ready to find it. If this made you rethink what's hiding beneath the surface, subscribe, because the ocean isn't done surprising us, and neither is this channel.